بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن أعداءهم. Responsibility number 11 towards the Imam of our time, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, is to yearn for him and his return. Now, at first thought, someone might think, okay, well, yearning towards the Imam is something that's in the heart. How is this a responsibility? How can I control what my heart feels or doesn't feel? And the answer is that although at the beginning it might seem like it's something that's in the heart, something you can't control, something out of your hands, but the reality is it is not. There are steps that get us to reaching this state of yearning towards the Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. One of them, which we already discussed, is to increase our ma'rifah and recognition and knowledge about the Imam. Once we learn who the Imam is and how great he is and how he represents Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how he upholds justice and how he is kind and how he is like a compassionate father, how he's like a brother, how he wants the best for us all, and so on and so forth, then that yearning towards him will automatically and naturally increase. One of the things and one of the ways to as well is looking into and researching and reading about the things that will happen and take place when he returns, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. So now, if we look around the world, wherever you look, there's oppression, there is difference, and there's violent differences between people of different sects, and even from within, unfortunately, within the Shia sect, there is ignorance, widespread ignorance, there's lying, there's cheating, and so on and so forth, all throughout the world. And the Imam has been promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, and the previous Imams, that when he returns, he will fill the world with equality, equity, and justice, just as it was filled with inequity and oppression. So looking at the reality outside, the orphans, the countries that are being oppressed, and so on and so forth, the war, the battle, the chaos, this will automatically want us to have the Imam return even faster and have us yearn for the Imam. And this probably would explain, and there are more steps of course, but this probably explain why the Holy Prophet ﷺ and previous prophets even, and the Imams one after the other, Lady Fatima ﷺ, would yearn for the Imam of our time, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and for his advent and for his appearance and returning to this world to establish this justice. Because they know what people are missing out on. They know how the Imam will change this whole entire world for the better, how he will increase people's knowledge, how he will get rid of oppression, how he will treat people the way they deserve to be treated, and so on and so forth. They know what people are missing out on. And so, for example, you see that the Holy Prophet ﷺ would speak a lot about the Imam, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Imam Ali ﷺ one day was seen looking into the ground with a stick and just kind of moving the stick around into the sand. And somebody asked him, "What are you doing? What are you thinking about? What's going on in your head?" The Imam said that I'm thinking about my grandson, Al-Hujjah Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, and his advent, and so on and so forth. Imam as-Sadūq alayhi salam, it's been narrated that some of the companions came to him and visited him, and they said that we saw him crying so heavily, as if the mother who had just lost her son or child and has just lost them, when the wound is still fresh, when the cut is still open, when the heart is still burning. That's how we saw the Imam crying. After he started crying and after he was speaking, he was complaining, and it's as if he was speaking to somebody. He was saying, "My master, your occultation has taken away my sleep from me. I can't sleep because of how much I think about how much we're missing out on with you not being here, and how hurtful it is for me that you are not in our presence," and so on and so forth. And then they asked him, "Why is it that you're saying all this? What's wrong? Did something happen to you?" He said that I was reading in the book of Al-Jafr, which is one of the books that's carried on between the Imams, one after the other. And I was reading about what will happen in the advent and the occultation of the Imam of our time, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Sharif, and how there will be violence, how there will be differences between people, how many people will leave their beliefs, as we mentioned before, and so on and so forth. And that's what made me like this. The Imams know this. The Imams understand this. The Imams understand the tragedy of being separated from the Imam of our time, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And in fact, Dua al-Nudbah is exactly this. Dua al-Nudbah is saying, "Mata tarana wa narak." When will you see you? When will we see you? When will you see us? And "Mata nantaqa'u ma'a bima'ika faqad tala as-salah." When is it that we will drink from that pure water of yours? Because this thirst has taken so long, and so on and so forth. That yearning towards the Imam of our time, Ajjallahu Farajahu Sharif, which comes as a result of us knowing who he is, as a result of us knowing what he will do and what he will accomplish when he returns, inshaAllah ta'ala. That is one of our greatest responsibilities, and that itself, that yearning, will push us to serving him, will push us to doing whatever we can to have that Advent return, to have that Advent happen, to have him return as fast as possible, inshaAllah ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.